Welcome back to In Behalf of Animals. I'm Nicole Arcello, and Happy New Year, my friends. It has been a year, and it's also been a great year for animals. Racetracks have closed. Fashion magazines, fashion brands are dropping fur. Restaurants are dropping foie gras, and animal protection legislation is passing state legislatures across the country. A lot has happened. There have been ups, there have been downs, but it's kind of just like every year, isn't it? But we have to keep fighting for the animals through everything else that's going on. Now, I know today is January 2nd, and you maybe already have had your New Year's plans, or dare I say resolutions, ready to go. You've started, right? You got up early, you exercised, you made a green smoothie, but now I'm asking you to pause and take a breath. One thing I learned over the years is not to overpromise. Don't overpromise to others, but also don't overpromise to yourself. It leads to burnout or, sometimes worse, shame if we can't follow through. And that's not good for anybody. My promise to you from the beginning was to inspire you to be advocates for animals. And I think I've kept that promise from the comments, messages of support, and the growing number of downloads for each episode. It's really because of you and our guests that I keep going. Being an animal activist is my passion. I love my job, but I can't do it on my own. You see, the animals drive me, but it's the good, caring people that fuel me to keep going. You all give me hope. For what hope do the animals have without us, without you? So today, I want you to look inside and find your activism superpower, just like I ask my guests. You all have it. Look for what you can do this year, this month, this week, to find your voice, your energy, your talents, to figure out how you want to show up in the world. It's not about a hastily written, overpromised set of impossible to follow resolutions. Whew! It's a journey, a process with a heartbeat of its own. So in today's episode, we'll be sitting down and hanging out with a couple of our animal activist friends. The kind of friends who remind us that change doesn't start with perfection or huge resources, but with people who care enough to begin. Today I'm talking with Stephanie Curson and Tiffany from Revolution Philadelphia. This honest and encouraging chat will inspire you to reflect on your activism and what you might want it to look like for 2026. So, my friends, don't start the year off with overwhelm. Start it off with intention, compassion, and your love for animals. Each guest shows us how activism is different for each one of us. And we are reminded time and again that all activism, big or small, is effective. Change is happening for the animals, but it can't happen on its own. And if you're new here, welcome to the community. And after you listen, binge that backlog and be inspired. So friends, grab your vegan latte, a cup of tea, or your headphones and walking shoes, and start off the year hanging out with some of your people. Here's my conversation with Stephanie and Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. Hi, Stephanie. Welcome to In Behalf of Animals.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
It is so great to have you both here today. And this is the first time I've had two guests, so it's very exciting to have you both here at the same time. So we have so many things to talk about today, but I'd love to start with your vegan stories. So who wants to go first?
You've been vegan. I think you've been vegan longer than me. So
Okay.
I love that. Okay.
I'll try to make it as short and condensed as I can, because I feel like it's been sort of a lifelong journey.
That's okay. Talk about all of it.
Okay. This is my favorite topic. So
yeah, good.
I was born loving animals, especially horses. I've always been passionate about horses. So growing up, I just loved animals, but in our house, we ate meat growing up. I wasn't always a huge fan, but it was what's for dinner. So, and then going to college, my first semester of college, I had a speech class and we could pick any topic. So I chose factory farming because, of course.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of research into factory farming. I was 17 at the time. And just seeing what really goes on in the slaughterhouses and what really happens to those animals, I right away went vegan. That lasted just a couple weeks. because at Penn State, where I went, there really wasn't any options other than the raw salad bar, which I lived on for a few weeks, that and probably bagels.
Right.
Unfortunately, it didn't stick. So through college, I was vegetarian. After college, I went back to eating chicken, and I rationalized it somehow in my mind. But then years after college, I started getting involved with animal activism. I worked with the Humane League and did a lot of outreach and went to concerts and handed out pamphlets. And then through that, I just really made the connection that all animals, deserve love, respect, compassion. And that's when I went vegan. My husband and I actually went vegan at the same time. So it's been probably a little bit over 10 years now.
Oh, awesome. Oh, that's great. I like that story because I think a lot of people have that. There's people that go vegan overnight and then there's like that back and forth. And I was vegetarian for a while, then, vegan weeks, vegan days, whatever. And then someone would give me something that wasn't vegan, that had dairy in it. And I'd be like, all right, well, it's still vegetarian, So,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
that's why we like to do
Journey.
different stories. It is a journey. Tiffany, tell us your vegan story.
So mine's like the opposite because I pretty much went vegan overnight.
Oh, I love it.
Um, oh,
I love the difference in stories.
yeah. So I was like a lifelong animal lover, just like most people
Mhm.
are, but I never made the connection. I never thought about it. I never wanted to think about it. And
Yeah.
I remember looking back when I was in my early 20s, my sister and I were on vacation with our family, and our cousin said to us, I don't know how we started talking about like meat. And I
Mhm.
think she had just gone vegetarian. And she's like, I saw Food Inc. and it changed my life. And my sister and I were like, we don't want to know. We
Mhm.
can't watch it. We don't want to know. We don't want to, ruin our lives.
Yeah.
So, we remained ignorant and never watched it. And I wish I did. But let's see, I guess 8 years ago, I'm a nurse, I work in the ER, and I was on Instagram and just
Mhm.
scrolling, and, back then, there wasn't really an algorithm, but something was showing me, like, vegan videos and
Wow.
slaughterhouse footage. It was, like, on your For You, page, which is,
Yeah.
there now, and I saw a bunch of videos, and I was horrified, and I came across the, like, trailer for Earthlings. It was a bunch of clips because back then on Instagram, you couldn't put, like, a full video on Instagram. It had to be, like,
Oh,
a
right.
15 it was 15 seconds long. That was, like, the max.
Oh,
And
right.
so all these,
I
like,
forgot about that.
15-second clips, yeah,
Yeah.
of Earthlings, and I was just
Wow.
a mess. I was
Mhm.
a mess. So I remember I wrote, a post, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try to go vegan," and
Yeah.
I just did it. I didn't really try, I just did it.
Yeah.
And, my husband was, a full-on animal eater at the time too,
Yeah.
and he was like, "I'll support you, but I'm not changing." And then I would come home and, like or I would watch something, and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, guess what? This is what happens to baby male chicks in the egg industry. This is what
Oh,
happens to male dick calves. Guess what it's doing to the environment. Guess what it's doing to our heart and our health and all." And he was like, you know he went vegan shortly after I did. It was maybe 6 months.
yeah.
And, yeah, I've been vegan since. I never looked back. And then I started to see, like, activism on Instagram, and I only knew one vegan, and she was a nurse practitioner that I worked with in the ER. And, I knew that, like, people did activism for animals, so I kind of assumed if you were vegan, that's what you had to do, like, to
Yeah.
be vegan.
Right.
So
Well,
I
that's what
went
we're
to
driven to do, right? Like, as soon as we
Yeah.
find out, we learn all of this. We're
I
like
was
like you were telling your husband, like, "Can you believe this? Can you believe that?" That's what we're telling everyone that will sit still for 5 seconds, right?
And yeah, and everyone at work thinks I'm, like, nuts at this point. But anyway, I go into work and I, like, talk to Abby, the only vegan I know. I'm like, "So what
Yeah.
do you do for activism, like animals? Do you go to protests and stuff?" She's like, "No." And that's when I realized not all
Yeah.
vegans were activists, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh my god, I have to do something." So that's
Yeah.
my vegan story, and I'm
I love it. Whoever we meet, any new vegan that we meet, Pat and I always ask, like, "How did you go vegan? What's your vegan story?" Because it's so interesting to us, but I think it's so educational to people. Like, you both started out by saying you're lifelong animal lovers, right? I think most of us describe ourselves as animal lovers, and I think that's one of the reasons why I started the podcast. Almost all of us say we're animal lovers, right? But we don't take that to the logical conclusion all the time, or we don't wanna know, and like Tiffany, you were saying, "I don't wanna know," and I see so many people say that, like, "Don't show me, I don't wanna know," and, Did you say the people that watched Food Inc. went vegan from Food Inc.?
No,
that what you
I
said?
think she was she was my cousin. I think she went
Oh,
vegetarian
okay.
at the time, and that's what brought the conversation up because she wasn't engaging in the crabs that we were eating.
Right.
And,
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
think we asked her why, and then she was like, "Oh my god, I saw this documentary,"
Yeah.
and my sister and I were like, "Don't tell us," for eating crabs.
I don't remember Food Inc. being that much animal rightsy, but maybe I don't know. I saw it a long time ago, but I was like, it's interesting when you see like what documentaries people force people to go vegan, and then you hear somebody. I had Ellen Erickson on the podcast the other day, and she was showing Dominion to people, and there was a woman that watched that and wasn't vegan after that. And I'm like, wow, that's like compartmentalism to the extreme, where you can watch that and be like, oh, but I'm still going to eat animals. Like that's really crazy. But
Yeah,
well,
That's something I have a really hard time with because I feel like a lot of times we assume people just don't know, and because they
yeah,
don't know, that's why they keep participating in eating animals. But then you find out
yeah,
sometimes people do know, and then they still don't change and feel like they need to stop eating animals. So that
yeah,
part really scares me about humanity.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's like one of the hardest things for us as activists is like, how do we reach those people? We know there's people that just aren't going to change for whatever reason, and
Yeah.
they know it, and it's like, but why aren't you doing it? And I'm sure it's got a lot to do with maybe their family or people in their lives maybe, or they're afraid to change. I don't know. It's but
How
that's
we view animals.
it's really hard. And sometimes religion comes into play. A lot of people will say, well, God gave us dominion over animals, so we have to and I think that a lot of people use that too. So yeah, that's really interesting. I'm sure we'll get to some of that stuff when we talk about some of your campaigns too, because I have questions about that. But so I read that you guys started Revolution Philadelphia in 2020. Is that right?
yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so it's really hard to start a group at all, okay? But you started in 2020? So
Oh my god, I know.
I was really surprised by that. So tell us how you started Revolution Philadelphia in 2020, or just how you
Okay.
started.
So I'll give you the short version, but
Yeah.
basically, Monsi, who is our co-founder, who's not here
Yes.
today, she's living her best life in California for just a little while and
Yeah.
coming back.
Oh, good.
But she and I knew each other because she started a group in Philadelphia called Liberation Philadelphia.
Okay.
And it was a bunch of activists. And that's when I first went vegan and I joined this group and I, met Monsi. Anyway, the group had dissolved and I kind of, stopped doing activism with them.
Mhm.
And Monsi had kind of popped back up again on social media. She was doing a campaign against DeBruno Brothers. It's a chain grocery store in
Oh,
the
okay.
Philly area for live lobsters. And
Okay.
she won. And she had a little group and some of the people I recognized from the old group. And we got in touch and, it just was very organic. And there was another co-founder who's not with the group anymore, but she and Monsi started Rev Philly together. And then I joined in
Yeah.
with them, in the beginning. And after Ellie left, I kind of had to assume the role of a co-founder because, Monty can't do it alone. And it was life changing. So yeah, that's how it started. And it
That's
was
awesome.
COVID. But yeah, looking back at all of
Yeah.
our activism pictures in the beginning, we all had masks
Yeah,
on,
right.
all standing apart, and we're outside. And was like, oh my gosh, this is so funny.
So, Stephanie, did you enter the picture after this because you
Yeah,
said
so
Monzi and
yeah, I had always there was groups in Philadelphia protesting the horse carriages. So there's been groups of women doing this for decades, maybe a
right.
decade or two. And so I would join their protests every once in a while throughout the years. And so the one lady that sort of ran those protests, she asked me to join in on a meeting with her. She was meeting with Revolution Philadelphia,
Mhm.
and that must have been maybe 2020 or 2021 when
Yeah,
that
so
was first
that
started.
brings us back to, like, the horse carriage campaign
Yeah.
when I kinda took over with Monsi with Rev Philly, and we started to really form an activism group.
Mhm.
We worked we spent a lot of time on gathering a community. We really,
Yeah.
built a great base of activists and volunteers that supported us. We
Mhm.
did a lot of outreach, and then I saw a video on Instagram from Voters for Animal Rights in New York of Aisha, the horse, collapsing in Central Park. And I was horrified. And I'm like, does this happen in Philly? Like, I didn't know at the time. I figured there were horse carriages in Philly, but I didn't know. And I was like, I have to look into this. So there were. And with COVID happening, the carriages had stopped operating, which was great. But it kind of put the whole campaign on hiatus. We wanted to do something about it, but there was really nothing we could do. So by the time I had met Stephanie, I think it was the end of 2020, maybe into early 2021 with Janet. And then the business was starting up again. So it was a perfect time.
So I started a petition to end horse carriages. And because I started that petition years ago, someone in Chicago, Jody, who I believe you've had on the podcast as well,
twice.
she had reached out to me. Yeah, she's amazing. So she had reached out to me, and her and I worked together to sort of put some things together to try to help any carriages. And she connected me with another lady in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And then that lady had me on a meeting with Tiffany. And then ever since I was on that meeting, we kept in touch, and I was going to Red Philly events, and that's kind of where we got connected. So from the horse carriages, from Jody, connecting everybody, and because I started that petition, she found me.
And how crazy is it that there's still horse carriages in the world? I can't believe that this is like other animals and entertainment are falling, away, but this is something that's, I guess it's entertainment, right? Because it's like, that romanticized. While we're on that topic, do you want to talk about what's going on in Philadelphia with horse carriages?
Yeah. So Stephanie and I, we hit the ground running on this campaign. We protested nearly every weekend. We boosted the campaign with the petition. We did like a selfie campaign targeting city council. We hit them every way we could. We did undercover, documentation of them violating the law while the horses were out. We'd submit that documentation. It was a few-year process of us just trying to see what worked, what stuck. And then finally in 2022, the end of 2022, we were able to prove for the first time there was abuse.
Awesome.
Someone submitted a photo of a horse at the stable without his gear, and he had open wounds all over his chest and neck. And she was not a vegan. She was not an activist.
Yeah.
She was merely walking by, and the horse ran up to her, and she took this picture and sent it to us.
Wow.
So we blew it up in the media,
Mm-hmm.
and we got a lot of attention for it. And there was a lot of tension being brought on the carriages, especially because Ryder had happened too. There was just a lot happening within the media.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, like Ryder was an international story and still continues to be. So it was just it was a really crucial time for us in this campaign. At the same time, the stable was being forced to be moved because there were developers coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So their lease was up in the air. They didn't know where they were going to reopen a stable, but they were assuring the public another stable was opening. So fast forward January 2023, we have a protest planned. We go down there. The horses are gone. We're like, this is weird. There's no temperature restriction. Why aren't they here? We call, we go on the website, we go down to the stables. The horses are gone. They're just gone.
Wow.
They were packed up. Everything was removed from the warehouse almost. It was just very jarring. So we called the media right away. We're like, the horses are gone. Where are they? So 76 Carriage Company eventually announced that they were closing and that it was temporary and they were going to reopen, and they never did. So,
Hey.
yeah. So we're
awesome.
still waiting on the legislation, but we do not have any horses operating in the city of Philadelphia at the moment.
That's awesome. I mean,
and I feel like we really learned a lot through that campaign, because we were kind of like, we were taking advice from other people. We were looking at other cities that had been successful or were like also in the process.
Yeah.
So we kind of did everything we possibly could think of. We had a rally at City Hall. We invited the news. We had speakers from different organizations, different rescue groups, horse experts. Jody flew in from Chicago. That got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So we were working solely with one council member, having meetings with him constantly, bringing in, quote unquote celebrities, and, anyone that we could to kind of influence this to go our way and introduce legislation.
Yeah.
So we're still working on that legislation. We're told that it is in the works, but this is something we will never give up on. And I
Right.
think that's kind of what we learned from this. Like, this campaign was hard. We had ups and downs. We had really amazing, great days where things were shared on the media. And when we
Mhm.
protested, people were there with us and, signing our petition. And there was a line of people there signing our petition. And then we had lows where we felt like we weren't getting anywhere. But in the end, the horses aren't there and they haven't been there for years. So they're not
Yeah.
suffering out in the heat anymore, or out in the cold and living in a box in the middle of the city. So I think this campaign really taught us as an org how to tackle something and how to be open to new ideas and how to just try everything.
Yeah. And thank you for talking about that because I think people need to know that this isn't easy,
No,
but it's worth it. And you have to ride the waves. And it is a long game, like things don't happen for animals, especially right
no.
Yeah.
away. It takes a long time.
I mean, there were so many times I remember calling Stephanie because I'm like the reactive and emotional one in the group. So I'd call her bawling and be like, this is never going to happen.
Mm.
Like, do we need to give up? What are we going to do? This is never going to
Right.
happen. I can't stand to see them out there. It was, 90 degrees, sweltering heat,
Mhm.
ice cold conditions in the winter. It was just it was just very, very depressing at times. And
Yeah.
it was, hopeless, and we kept going, and I think that's the point of activism is that
Yeah.
you're gonna hit a lot of hurdles and roadblocks you're fighting. No matter what campaign you choose or what cause you're fighting for, you're gonna hit a lot of, bumps in the road. You just have to keep going. You have
Yeah.
to, 'cause
Yeah.
you'll win. You will win.
Yeah. Thank you for that. It is really important. It's the long game every single campaign because you see so many people, they go out and then they're like, well, we didn't end it, so I'm not going to do it anymore. And it's like, we need, organizers, we need a plan, but we also need the people too to show
Yeah.
up, right? How do you get people to show up? How do you keep people motivated? You guys do great on social media, so I'm sure that's a huge part.
That's
Thanks.
all
Yeah.
Tiffany. She's a wonderful social media person.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Tiffany.
thank you.
Yeah, you do a great job. Thought if I wanted to say something about Revolution Philadelphia, I would say fighters. If I had to pick like one word.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
because you guys
That's
are it's so important and listening to you guys talk about that.
Yeah, so keeping people motivated, I mean, like I said, in 2020 when we started, we were able to like kind of secure this incredible base of really dedicated and passionate people within Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So that was a huge piece of keeping, starting an activist group and keeping people engaged. They were just as dedicated as we were, and
Mhm.
that their passion was motivating for us, and vice versa.
Yeah.
We purposefully choose
Yeah.
campaigns that appeal to everyone, and that includes non-vegans.
Yes. I
Just like
love
with
that.
horse racing, non-vegans are appalled by horse racing, puppy
Right.
mill, fur, foie gras,
Mhm.
horse carriages. So we can get people on board with our campaigns that
Yeah.
don't necessarily align with our, ethical way of living, but our hopes in the meantime is to kind of bring them to the light and show them the
Yeah.
way, and
And
hopefully
that
they'll get
happens.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens all the
It
time. Right,
happens all the time.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And in 2020 to have you to start a group and get people that's when like people were falling out of activism. 2020 was a rough year. And so to start a group and get people motivated at in 2020 I think is fantastic. But also what you said about, opening that up to everybody. So you don't have to be vegan to go to a puppy mill protest or a horse racing protest or a horse carriage protest. And then you bring them around, other animal lovers who have gone to that logical conclusion. They're all, most of them are vegan, right? And then that kind of it follows through. We saw that time and time again, with horse racing protests. People would come because they'd be outraged. You're standing next to people talking about vegan this, vegan that, and then they start maybe like looking up vegan or they follow you on social media and they're going to get when they follow us, right? They're going to get an education. So what are you doing? You mentioned puppy mills, and I know that there's been some movement in the state of Pennsylvania to ban the retail sale of dogs, cats, and rabbits. Are you guys working on that too?
Yeah, so statewide, there's been a law that's been introduced and reintroduced, and I think recently reintroduced Victoria's law.
Yeah.
Our good friend Grace from Finding Shelter has been working on that. Victoria was her rescue dog. So I think maybe things are moving with that right now. In the meantime, we're trying to do what we can at the local level to try to make some movement, to try to
Yeah.
educate people, educate legislators. So one of the things we've been working on over this past year is getting local retail pet store bans in our own towns and
Right.
municipalities. So our first one was where I live in West Norton. We were able to pass a retail ban. We don't have a pet store here, but if a pet store were to open, they would not be allowed to sell dogs, cats, or rabbits. The purpose in starting this campaign for us, there is a local store near me called Tom's Pet Outlet. My goal and our goal was to kind of shut that place down because
Mhm.
they have, one puppy from every breed, and it's very obvious that they source from puppy mills,
Right.
even though they use all the jargon that pet stores use, saying they get from ethical breeders.
Right.
But fortunately, that place shut down on its own
Yay.
last year. So
Oh, that's
we're
great.
working on other towns. Tiffany was very successful at getting a ban in Westchester, which is a bigger town, so that was a great move.
How
And so we're
awesome.
just sort of going local town by local town and trying to encourage other people in their own towns to go to their city council. We have a wonderful partner at the Humane Society, Humane Welfare Animals now. Ariel, she's a puppy mill expert, so she will come and present to the council, and they'll ask questions, and she's got amazing answers. So that's something that we've been working on. Any town that will have us, we
That's
sort of
great.
do this presentation and encourage them to pass this fall. So right now we're working on a local town that does have a puppy mill store. So it will be our first one. But
Yeah.
this store definitely sells from puppy mills. There's been a long, long list of complaints of people who have bought dogs from them. The dogs have died. The dogs have cost thousands and thousands of dollars because they're sick
Yeah.
and medically not doing a good job. So this is the one we're working on now. We're really trying to get some movement in that town.
I love that. And that's the beauty of grassroots activism too, is, if something's not moving on the state level fast enough, then just start working where you live. And I think that's so important. We had the ban on the sale of dogs, cats, and rabbits in New York State. And there was a couple of pet stores in Albany in the two big malls here, and they closed up as soon as the ban took effect. Now, our governor decided to give them an extra year to phase out, which we were not thrilled about. But as soon as that came into effect, those stores were gone. Like overnight, they were gone.
Awesome.
And it was just so great to like go to the mall and not have to see these poor, suffering animals. And we know they're suffering. And we see so much of this is hidden, with horse carriages, right? And horse racing and animals and entertainment, the pet stores, because it's like all this other stuff that you're distracted with. And I think, and it's so important. And when you're working at that grassroots level, you're educating so many people in the process. When you're at a city council meeting talking about that, there's people talking about other things at the city council meeting. So you're educating them too. And
Yeah.
that's so important to remember all of that works together. I know you guys were handing out vegan roasts recently.
Oh my
I'm
gosh, yeah. So
Yeah.
we love doing that. Every year we partner with
Yeah.
PETA, and this year PETA sponsored 100 roasts, and we had a very successful event, and we were so inspired by it. We
Yeah.
decided we're going to hold our own vegan roast giveaway
Oh,
in just a
awesome.
couple of weeks. Yeah, we're really excited, and we're sponsoring it, and that's something we're really proud of as an
Yeah.
organization. So we often tell our volunteers and our supporters, like, it's those little $5 and $10 donations you give us a couple times a year when we fundraise that allow us to do this. And it
Yeah.
not only helps animals, it helps our communities, especially at a time with like food insecurity and,
Yeah.
people can't
Prices.
necessarily. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it came in clutch. So we're really excited. So we do those often.
What kind of response do you get from people as you're
Oh my
doing
God,
that
it's so
outreach?
positive.
I was supposed to go to one in Massachusetts and I couldn't travel that weekend. So I haven't been to one of these. So tell us like about the setup a little bit, because in case people don't know what these are.
We set up a table. We have vegan roasts. Usually,
Are you are you in front of are you in front of like a grocery store or in a public
the
area outdoors?
what's interesting about this is, up until this year, we have several live slaughterhouses in Philadelphia, probably about a
Okay.
dozen. So
Yeah.
we would do them in front of the slaughterhouses.
Oh, that's
'Cause
really interesting. Yeah.
yeah, so we have mixed reviews.
Yeah.
We had it covered by the news one year. Uh, we
Yeah.
we were able to liberate animals in the process a couple of times. So We did that, but this time we took it to City Hall, and Philadelphia is really well known for their Christmas Village, and
Mhm.
Christmas Village is right at City Hall, so we thought
Oh,
it would
wow.
be a great spot.
Yeah.
This time the reception was so great. I mean, we had people lined up at the table. Um, People were so excited. One guy came up and was like, "I'm not vegan, but my mom's vegan," and
Oh,
he
awesome.
was super excited that that option was there for him,
Yeah.
and so it went really well. It always goes really well, and
And how many roasts
Some
do you have to give away?
this year we had 100.
Oh,
Yeah, we
wow.
were very excited about yeah, PETA sponsored 100 roasts, which
Oh,
was
that's
and
really
they
cool.
went in under an hour. We
yeah.
weren't
Oh, wow.
even done setting up yet, and people were coming over, and so we gave away 5 or 6 even before the event
Wow.
really started. So, yeah, those roasts went quick, and we felt like we could have stayed out there and just kept doing it because we
Oh,
were getting a good reception and meeting a lot of
yeah.
great people and people that were even like, "I thought about this, and I'm vegetarian," or, "I thought about going vegan," and so it's nice that they could connect with us and see
Yeah.
can go vegan. And I know at the holidays it is more difficult depending on your family structure, but here's a great alternative. And some of the people that tried the roast really did like them. I actually did a roast giveaway at my school as well because I'm a teacher.
Oh, wow.
I teach elementary school, so I was able to
Yeah.
connect with PETA, their Teach Kind education um, wing or whatever, and so
Yeah.
they gave me some roast to give away at school, and the staff and some of the kids were really open to it, and I've heard some
Oh, that's
really
awesome.
positive feedback, yeah, from that.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to talk about that because I think your whole team, you all work full-time jobs too,
Yes,
right? And then you
Yeah.
do
gotta
so
pay the bill.
so right. So how do you fit it in? And then also, I was going to ask a question is how do you do some activism, at work? Because we always try to encourage people to find your voice and talk to people you work with and talk to, people that you encounter throughout your life and find ways to work in, why you're vegan because we said in the beginning that not all vegans are activists, right? So how can we do that? So anyway, talk about
There's
summer.
so many different ways. So,
Yeah.
um, at work, as a teacher, I do have the really interesting opportunity to reach a lot of people. I teach over 600, or around 600 children.
Wow.
So whenever I can, I try to incorporate that compassion, the empathy for everyone, for animals especially, into our lessons. I'll have guest speakers come in. I do other different activities with the PETA Teach Kind. Like we've had free ice cream giveaways where they're trying vegan ice cream. So I always try to incorporate it with my students. If there's an insect in our room or a mouse, we talk about how, they have feelings too. And here's
Oh,
what you can do. You can let them out the window, let out the door. So they know if there's a
yeah.
bug in our room, we put them in a cup or in our hand and we walk them outside.
Oh,
So just showing them those little things that maybe it's different at home, but here's another way to
yeah.
approach when you come across a living thing that might need your help. And we talk about caring for their animals because they, often have dogs and cats and other animals at home. And then with the staff, if we have a social, which we have every month, if I'm a baker, I'll bring in something vegan and label it vegan. Recently, I made tofu bacon and I labeled it like cruelty free bacon or, you
Yeah.
know, slaughter free bacon, a no kill bacon. So they know that I'm
I love
being the
that.
only vegan at work. They know what to
Yeah.
expect from me. And a lot of times they'll come to me looking for recommendations or substitutions for things if someone has
Yeah.
allergies at home, and I'm always more than happy to talk to people about it. So anytime there's an opportunity to bring food or anything like that, and we also have glue traps at work, so I will try to get rid of those when I can, and
Yeah.
try to talk to people that make those decisions about replacing them with alternatives. But there's always ways. I mean, we use and abuse animals in so many different ways you can't even count them, and they're always incorporated into our daily lives, whether it's
Yeah.
food or pest control or things like that. So there's always ways to kind of bring it up and look for changes. And I've tried in the cafeteria to get plant-based alternatives, and I know a lot of groups are working on that. So really there's an endless way to
Yeah.
incorporate it into whatever job you're doing.
Yeah. I love that because it's uncomfortable sometimes too, but I always say like food activism is like the easiest thing to do at work, right? Just like make muffins or buy from a really good vegan bakery
Yeah.
if you don't bake yourself and just bring them in and let or vegan donuts or something and bring them in and let people eat them and then they'll start asking questions. I remember I worked in the salon industry for 18 years and I remember one day I made Gardein the fishless fish,
Love
and
that.
I threw a couple extra in because we're always, in between clients, we're like in the back room and we're just shoving food in our mouth. So a couple of the girls, I kind of just like, I had some extra like forks and I just, cut a few pieces and I gave them a fork and they ate it and they're like, oh my God, this is so good. And they're like, wait a minute. You don't eat fish though. You said you don't eat fish, and I was like, it's fishless fish. It's vegan fish. And they were like, what? And then they were like later, they were like, where do I buy that? So it was so cool, like not everyone went vegan. Some were really thinking about it. I did have some customers go vegan, but it was really cool for them to be like, wait a minute. And it just really shocked them, I think, because it was the
Yeah.
fish,
You're
fish kind
planting
of
those
flavor.
seeds. You just
Yeah.
plant seeds wherever you can, and you never know where it might go.
Yeah. And how do you guys navigate working full time with, doing your events and, is that do you guys lean on each other a lot for that?
Yeah, we usually try to align. We have to align our schedules, and then someone always has something going on between the four of us. There's Stephanie, myself, Monty, and Claire. That's kind of our base of our Philly. So
Yeah.
something's always happening. So we always pick up for each other, and it's just what we do. And
Yeah.
it works. And yeah, we just plan our events around our work schedules, which is pretty doable.
Yeah.
And during the week, we pretty much talk every day. I think we talk 7 days a week, maybe.
Yeah.
We
That's
do.
good. You're always connected.
Yeah.
That's
We're
good.
always connected, which is great. And yeah, what it comes down to is we all have the same goal and we really genuinely care and respect each other.
Mhm.
And just that's why it works so well.
Yeah.
There are times where we disagree about something that we're doing, and we
Mhm.
always listen and just talk to each other with kindness and empathy, and we always come out stronger than were before,
Yeah.
whenever something happens. So yeah, we're very lucky to have each other, and we think the reason Red Philly is so successful with its longevity. I mean, organizations typically don't last. The small grassroots ones, people are in and out of the movement a lot. You lose activists, things slow down, things stop.
Yeah.
But we've been steadfast because we have each other, and we're very lucky to have them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I know
great.
for myself, I need these girls. I mean,
Mhm.
being in a non-vegan world, you need your vegans. You need the
That's
people that
right.
get it, that know why you're crying on the way to work because you saw a deer hit by a car, that know like why you're so frustrated. Everyone around you is eating meat and they don't get it. So it's really important to have, fellow vegans, fellow people that care like you do and understand the hurt that you tend to
Yeah.
go through just because you care so much and you have that empathy.
Right.
And I think for us, yes, we work full time, we're tired, it takes a lot out of you, but
Mhm.
um, knowing what animals go through, the cruelty they face in so many different ways
Yeah.
worldwide, this is how we stay sane, feeling like we're doing something, putting our sadness and feelings about it into action. I mean, for me, I know that's the way that I can deal with it, thinking, okay, well, this sucks, but I'm going to try to do something about it. And that's how I try to survive, knowing what's going on in the world and just feeling like I can do something and we can all do something, even if it's just talking to a friend about, what's going on behind the
Yeah.
scenes.
I love that. And it does. Being active makes you feel so much better. It fills you with positivity where there was so much negativity and sadness. I love that you said that because it is so important. Like I always want to try to convince people, like, go to a protest because you're going to feel so great after just because you were there. You were
Mhm.
there. You were there with other people. You were there fighting for something. You were there for that animal in that arena or on the street or wherever. And it does really, really feel good. And don't feel bad about that because we need things that make us feel good, right?
Yeah.
And, get out there and do that. So I know you guys do you haven't on your list of campaigns that I asked you for, banning the sale of forced-fed products in Philadelphia. And I know I've seen some videos of this campaign. So can you talk about that a little bit? So explain forced-fed product first and go from there.
So force-fed product is a language that we are forced to use, no pun intended. But basically, it's foie gras.
Right.
And there's also like chicken foie gras, duck foie gras. So
Mhm.
it's the language of the legislation, basically. But
Okay.
foie gras, any animal, because animals are not products. Force-fed product is not my favorite terminology. That's
Right.
why. But
Yeah.
animals are not products, but their body parts are to some people.
Mhm.
And foie gras is basically the product that we're referring to.
Right. So tell us about what that is, if
Oh
someone
my
doesn't
gosh,
know.
it's horrible. Most people don't know what foie gras is because it's such a bougie, elitist,
Mhm.
it's just really
The niche.
disgusting. Yeah.
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 You don't see foie gras on menus on at your everyday,
Right.
restaurant that
Right.
you walk into. It's
And
usually
it's a French word that literally translates to fat liver,
Diseased
right?
liver. Yeah.
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 Right.
Like, and when you really think about, like, I'm a nurse, I know what a diseased liver is. I've taken care of countless patients with
Mhm.
fatty liver disease.
Yeah.
How can people eat that and think
Right.
that I mean, it just kinda blows my mind.
Yeah.
It really does. Like, animal flesh on any level blows my mind, but this
Mhm.
in particular does because it's a disease being introduced into a body part
Right.
on purpose to consume by humans. It just makes no sense. It should be
Right.
outlawed everywhere. So,
So
yeah,
what is the
we
process of how does this happen? How does these are ducks, geese, you said that it could be chickens. So what do
Yeah, so
they
mostly ducks
Yeah.
and some geese, but mostly ducks. So they're very young. They're bred weeks old. They start to be force fed
Mhm.
a couple times a day. They're force fed with a metal tube shoved down their throat. So someone
Mhm.
grabs their throat, shoves the tube down, and that injures their bills, their throats. It could, make organs explode. So they're force fed this like corn mixture until their liver is growing 8 to 10 times its normal size. And so their very short lives are miserable. They're force fed 3 times a day, and then they're slaughtered very young. And then the liver, the diseased liver, is harvested, and that's what this expensive plate of foie gras is. It's
Right.
a diseased body part made by torture. And that's kind of what we try
Awful.
to educate people at our protests. We make sure we tell them
Yeah.
where this comes from because, again, a lot of people don't know, and why would they?
Right.
But when they're walking past a restaurant and they hear that this restaurant is selling this product and here is how it's made, we hope that we really make a difference
Right.
in telling people about it.
So where are you protesting?
Outside of restaurants that serve foie gras.
Okay, and this is in the city of Philadelphia,
Yeah,
or
so in Philadelphia,
'cause
it
this is a
changes because
delicacy, you said. This is, like, bougie,
yeah,
this is, like a
Oh,
higher
yeah.
end
a
product.
seasonal dish sometimes, and sometimes restaurants will have it on all the time. It's mostly a French dish, so a lot of French restaurants, which we have a bunch in the city.
Mhm.
So we did some research. We made a list of restaurants that we knew at the time were serving foie gras, and we kind of looked at who owns the restaurant, how many people go there, what part of the city is it in, and we sort
Right.
of just picked our targets based on different things, and we would start protesting outside of those places. And we did get, you know, a few to stop serving foie gras. Some of the campaigns took a long time, but again, you don't give up and you just keep showing up and they
That's
get
right.
very sick of you. And, we would always try to send
Can't
an
give up.
email to the restaurant first and
Yeah.
go about it the political way and say, hey, like, we saw you serve foie gras. This is how it's made. We're asking you to please remove it from the menu. A lot of times that email was ignored or, they would write back, thank you. We would try to meet with them. And
Yeah.
when that didn't work, we would start protesting outside the restaurant, making a lot of noise as
Yeah.
people were coming in and out, and it does have a really big effect.
How do the people going in, how do they react?
Well, some people would say, "Oh, I'm not eating foie gras," or
Yeah,
"We're
yeah.
with you," or sometimes you would get cursed out and yelled at. It really just depends.
Right.
Yeah, it's a range.
But the
Well,
pro
it
Go ahead.
the clientele are typical or similar to people that wear fur.
Mhm.
This is a certain kind of person, and half the time
Right.
they are not trying to hear what you have to say, and they believe they're above you in every way, shape, and form. So, a lot of these people coming out of the restaurant are inebriated. They're drinking.
Right.
So, they have liquid courage. But yeah, we've seen people walking out of these restaurants in like floor length fur coats.
Ugh,
And,
should
we're just like, oh my.
bring the fur signs too.
Yeah, no, we all
Well, we were
told them
like,
about fur.
yeah, we went nuts at the protest. But,
Have like a,
um,
like on the back, like flip it around for
Yeah,
fur too.
yeah,
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah, we got very lucky because our first Target actually closed their restaurant.
oh, that's
And
awesome.
here's the
Yeah.
thing, like, we don't wanna see people lose their livelihoods, but no one is
Right.
losing their jobs over foie gras.
Right.
It is such a niche product.
Right.
They can
Good
simply
point.
take it off the menu and replace
It's
it with
one
something.
menu item.
It's
Right.
one item,
Yeah.
and a lot of times these chefs have these huge egos, and it's really hard to break through that. And, initially, like I said, like Steph had said, we are very diplomatic and we try our hardest to educate them. And 99% of the time, the claim is that they obtain it humanely.
Yeah.
But we all
can't do
know
that.
where
Yeah.
everyone's foie gras comes from. We all
Right.
know. And it's in New
Right.
York. And we know the farm in New York. And we've seen the footage out of that farm countless times
Right.
over the past several years. We know what happens there. And we show people that too. So
Right.
there's another group that's actually working with city council on a ban, a legislative ban.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah, we support that 100%. And we are
Yeah.
on board to help wherever we can and are looking forward to that becoming a reality in Philadelphia, which we think it will. It's just
Yeah.
taking time.
Yeah. And you're also educating people driving by, walking by
Oh, yeah.
that aren't going into that restaurant too, especially in your the locations you guys are protesting in.
Right.
So you're really raising awareness in so many ways. And I think that's important too for us to remember that it's the venue, but also, potential real, no, but potential, activists to remember that you're out there educating the general public too. So now this is something they never knew about, and they're going to look that up and they're going to, they'll get information and then maybe that'll send them into that vegan rabbit hole and they'll go vegan, in the process of seeing
And
that protest,
we've had people off the street join our protest.
Yeah,
It's happened a few
that's
times, whether
awesome.
it was for horse carriages or foie gras. But once people were,
Yeah.
realizing where it comes from, they're like, "Let me have a sign."
Yeah.
They'll join in, and we love that.
Yeah, that's awesome. We just had our Fur Friday. We're recording this in December. So we just had our Fur Friday protest a few weeks ago in front of a fur store that's local. And I think we educated people to the existence of that fur store and they were appalled. Like people were stopping, we're near a stoplight and people are rolling down their windows. They're like, "We're so glad you guys are out here, but why are you here?" And we're like, "There's a fur store." They said, "Oh my God, there's a fur store?" And this is like, I live down the street and they were so mad. And these people aren't vegan. These are, people are
Yeah.
learning but they're not going to learn unless we're out there. So
Right.
that's another little push for anyone listening to, go out there and help because we do make so much progress on these things,
And
and
making
it's
connections.
great. Yeah. And yeah, we're teaching so many people that are just driving by or, like they're going to look up these things and they're going to say, if they just Googled, fur protest, they would get a lot of information. So it's just
Mhm.
like, this day and age, I think it's really good for us to get out there so much. What other campaigns are you guys currently working on or what do you have coming up?
So
Well,
one of our huge ones right now is the one that we're partnering with you guys on, Horse
Yeah.
Racing Wrongs. We're trying
Right.
to end racing subsidies in Pennsylvania
Yeah.
because we're hoping without those $200 million around a year, the racing industry will no longer be around. So that's
Yes.
that's one we've been working on with you guys for over a year now, and we're really
Yes.
hopeful that we're getting somewhere.
Yes, we're doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff and hopefully we'll get some campaigns rolling out there. We do protests. You guys have been doing protests at parks. It's horse racing subsidies. I know Patrick talked a little bit of that in our horse racing episode a couple of months ago, and he touched on subsidies a little bit. Maybe we'll have a whole episode on subsidies, not only horse racing, but how all animal agriculture
Yes,
is subsidized with our tax dollars, and that's so
yes.
important for people to know. But horse racing, you don't have to be vegan to hate horse racing, or be against it. And I think that it's a campaign people need to know that this money could go to education. This money can go to community programs instead of propping up this horrible industry, that just abuses and kills horses. And we're paying for it. It's crazy.
Hmm.
So yeah, we're looking
And
forward to that.
in
Um,
Pennsylvania, Parks is one of the deadliest tracks in the country.
yeah,
It's a horrible track with horrible conditions, and so far, I think you told me 45, 46 horses in Pennsylvania have been
in
killed
Pennsylvania. And
on our
just
track,
2025 so far. Yeah, we have a few weeks left of the year.
and most of
So
that's at Parks. So Parks is
yeah.
an
right.
awful place. We love protesting there. We're out in the street. It's a very busy street,
Yeah.
out front of that racetrack, and we educate a lot of people. We get a lot of middle fingers, but, people
Yeah.
that don't know anything about it or even how
They're
deadly the track
learning.
is, I really think people are learning things,
Yeah, they are. And then
putting them on blast.
they go to the website and they learn more and yeah, so and that's important to educate people, in any way possible. And being out there on a busy street, I haven't been able to get there yet, but on a busy street, on, all kinds of weather. I remember you guys had a hurricane, the
Yeah.
protest you were getting poured on.
That was a rough one.
Yeah, and it's just like just being out there no matter what for the animals. What else you guys do? Um, you go to marches, you co-host meetups, you do sanctuary visits and volunteer days. So do you guys do some of that stuff in building a community?
Yeah, I
Get
mean,
people
who
involved?
doesn't wanna spend the day with happy animals at a
Yes.
sanctuary? But yeah, supporting sanctuaries is incredibly important to us. It's one of our
Mm.
priorities in our group, whether that's showing up, sharing, helping network animals that need adopted. But one thing that is kind of like a campaign, but kind of isn't, that we took on as an organization that I'm really proud of is that when local animal abuse cases occur,
Mhm.
there's not a lot of attention on them.
Yes.
And these people, even though laws exist for animals, I mean, they're not the greatest, but they do exist. There are
Right.
felony animal cruelty laws in place. They're not enforced, and these people are not receiving appropriate sentences. So,
Yes.
what we like to do is blast these people in every way, shape, and form and say, look what this guy did to this dog.
Right.
Here's his face, here's the story, here's his court date, be there. And
Right.
then we involve the media and we really blow it up because
Yeah.
these DAs and judges tend to not take animal abuse or cruelty very seriously at all because, there are a lot of other crime issues going on. I get that, but that doesn't make this any less important. So we really blast these cases and we try to pressure the DAs and the judges to enforce the max sentencing and penalties and whatnot.
Yeah. So how do
It's
you do that?
working.
Do you protest like do a demo outside the hearing? Do you
It
email? Do you have people
depends.
email?
Yeah, it depends on the case, but I'll just reference the last one we had was a woman named Anna Garmonti. It was international news. This woman
Yeah.
was creating YouTube videos torturing animals for likes, and she would do more to the animal, based on the number of likes and comments and things.
So
And
she was doing this like live.
she was doing them on lives, yeah. And
Wow.
somebody finally and YouTube was publishing these and allowing it.
Uh,
And somebody finally got the video to PETA and she was charged. And when we came across this story, I was like, we have to go to her hearings.
yeah.
So I put out a press release for one of her hearings. And this whole thing ended up taking 2 years. There were so many hearings, just deferred, put off, rescheduled, this and that. And but we followed through from start to finish. And she did not get jail time, which she was looking at 7 years. This particular judge is very lenient with animal cruelty cases, but
So
we
frustrating.
got this in the media and it really blew up. And everyone knows who she is and will know who she is forever
Yeah.
for what she did. And that's not going away. So,
Great.
um, yeah, we like to do that a lot. And yeah, we email the judges, we email the DAs, we offer our support to the DAs. We're like, listen, here's why this is wrong and you should pursue this. Here's
Right.
why you should pursue the max charges on this. And we'll offer to give like testimony and things like that. And then we encourage the community to get involved. Did you know your neighbor just decapitated a dog? Things
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
We want everyone to know because these
Yeah.
people get away with murder,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
should be called
literal
out.
murder.
Yeah,
Shame.
it is murder. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're murdering
And
animals and they're not being it's awful. And that is such a great way to really get it out there because people don't know. You're right. People don't know this is happening. It might
no.
get in the newspaper or whatever, but
Yeah. It's
not
the little
everyone's reading the
blurb.
newspaper. Yeah.
Then you
Exactly.
forget about it.
Yeah.
Right.
So you blast it out on social media too. So you're getting people involved on social media, raising awareness about it. And are you getting like news media involved too?
Oh, yeah. So we'll send out a press release ahead of any major hearing that's coming up.
Yeah.
And then when there's a sentence, we'll send it out as well. But Steph had been on the news a couple times for Anna Garmonti over the years, and we'd gotten a ton of local coverage and stories in the paper and things like that over it. Because,
great.
as community members, we should be taking a stand as a community and say, this is not acceptable. We do not want these people in society. This person should
Right.
be in jail.
Yeah.
But if people don't know, they can't do anything. So that's
Right.
the beauty of getting grassroots
Yeah.
activism
And
in
judges are
multiple.
elected, DAs are elected. These are
Yeah.
elected officials
Mhm.
too, and it's so important to remember. I think so many people think, and we have subsidy legislation in New York. We just found out that it's going to be alive again this year, so that's good. And we're hoping to get that subsidy legislation in some way, shape, or form in Pennsylvania in the next couple of months. But people think that, oh, they don't care about us, our elected officials. They don't care. They're not gonna listen to me. What do you say about that?
It they have to listen to you. We are their constituents. They are elected. Our issues need to be their issues. So something that Patrick and I did a lot over this past year was meet with Pennsylvania legislators on both sides, my legislators, other local legislators, to inform them about the issue of horse racing, how many horses are dying, how it's a dying industry, and people are not supporting it. And giving our tax money to this industry is not okay with us. We want that money to go to education and go to public services. So meeting with your legislators, even if you think they don't care, it doesn't matter. Make them care. Tell them why it's important to you. You are a voter. What are you passionate about? They will meet with
Yeah,
you, and they're people too, and they do care a lot of times. Even if it's
yeah,
not their top priority, they will tell you who you should be talking to make more of an impact on this.
right.
So I think, thinking people don't care, maybe they don't, but you don't know until you talk to them about
They
it.
care about being reelected, I'll tell you that.
They
Yeah.
sure do.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
if they have enough people, so if you're sitting out while other people, maybe your voice could have really contributed to that person, state, that delegate, or that assembly member, or that state senator, to really jump on board with something. But if you sat it out, maybe it wouldn't happen. So talking to listeners out there,
Yeah. You don't
don't be
know until you try.
afraid. And also I've heard people be like, "Oh, I don't want to sign my name to it." Well, they all know who you are. So if you have a driver's license, they know who you are. So
Yeah.
Right.
sign your name, be brave, because we have to speak for the animals because they can't speak for themselves. And we have to do that. And it's so much easier to talk
Mhm.
about all of this, about these issues, if you remember you're speaking for the animals and how much they're suffering. We will never suffer one little bit as much as they do, whether someone's yelling at us or flipping us off or telling us to get a life of
Mhm.
protest, or even if an aide at a legislator's office is short with us, like, yeah, 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 okay, yeah, whatever. Who cares? Call them up again, because
Yep.
the animals need us, because, and I'm not talking to you guys because but I'm just trying to get people, motivated, and you guys are great motivators too. So, um,
Yeah, it's a man-made world. We've created all these problems for animals. We use
that's
them in
right.
horrible ways, and so we need to make people change because people are the ones doing it.
That's right. What do you guys think the biggest challenge is right now for the animal rights movement?
I think, and I'm sure Tiffany will have a different answer. So I think just getting people to care, because I think right now people are dealing with a lot, no matter what it is. People are going through it, whether it's money or things in their I just there's a lot going on. So I think just getting people to focus on an issue and really spend some time caring about it. Just making people care about what's happening to animals and making the connection of their animal at home they would do anything for is the
Right.
same heart and soul in a cow and a chicken and a horse. It's the same. And so if you can love one animal, you can spread that to all animals.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of factors that are, barriers to the animal rights movement. Um, and the biggest one, like Steph said, is lack of care from the general population
Mm.
about what happens to animals, because there are bigger problems in the world
Right.
according to them.
Yeah.
So I think breaking that barrier is really important, and meeting people where they are and getting them to making them feel heard, and that their problems are important too, or what
Right.
they're facing is important too, and I think that's the way you can kinda get people in, but yeah, these are hard times right now, this is unprecedented, and, more than ever, animals need us, but more than ever do we have I mean, for me at least, this is anecdotal, but I've seen activists come and go over the years, and when you come, I thank you for your service, when you go,
Mm.
you're always welcome back. But too many people have left the movement. It's so much smaller now than it used to be. I mean, I think veganism the heyday of veganism is over. I remember a veganism boom when I went vegan. It was 2017. Everybody was going vegan. Everybody was talking about going vegan. It was on the news.
It was like in fashion, right?
Yeah, everybody was going vegan, and it was a huge thing. And
Yeah.
I was like, it was such a wild time, and that is gone.
Yeah.
That is gone. Those times are
We
gone.
need to bring it back.
Yeah.
We need to bring it back,
Yeah.
but in a more accessible way that can accommodate everyone.
Right.
Yeah. And there is a place for everyone. Everyone has their passions, their interests, their talents, and we need all of that. Whether you're someone that does art or writing, I mean, there is a place for everyone in this movement. You don't have to be some amazing influencer or,
Yes.
someone
And
who's really great on
don't
video.
expect to be because
Right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think they're going to be an influencer and they start out posting and then algorithms get the best of them or burnout takes over or whatever. And it's like, just do it for the animals every day.
That's it.
Because
Yeah.
I think you can't go wrong when you're doing it for the
Right.
animals. You guys are so positive, and I love that because we need that. You guys have a lot of energy. So what would you say to I always say, okay, so if you're vegan, you're saving a finite number of animals, right? So you have to do more. So what would you say to a vegan who's kind of like, oh, I don't know about being an activist?
Well, first of all, I would bust the myth that being vegan saves animals. It doesn't. It does not, because of subsidies. It does. You do not see the number of animals being killed for food is going up every year, regardless if you're vegan or not. Period. That's why you need to be active.
Mm-hmm.
Active doesn't mean screaming into a megaphone on a street corner in front of hundreds of people. That can be writing a one paragraph letter to your representative. That can be picking up the phone and calling a restaurant and asking them to stop serving foie gras. That can be signing a petition. That can be, fostering animals. That can be working at a sanctuary. It comes in so many forms. We need you. That's
Right.
that's what the message is basically. It's like, we need you. No matter what you're willing to offer, we will take it.
Yeah, I
We
love
just
that.
need you.
That's right. We need
100%.
more people.
Yeah, but yeah, there's something for everybody, just like Steph said.
Yeah, like even going to a legislative office, if it's just me or, or me and Patrick, but if I have 5 other people walking with me, they're going to take
Mhm.
notice. So, the same thing, like if you're standing out there to protest, 2 people at a protest is doable, right?
Mhm.
But having 20 people at a protest or 30 or 40 people at a protest means so much more to the people walking by, to the industry that you're fighting, and we just really need people, and that's what this
Yeah,
podcast
just
is
get out
about.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go. You won't regret it. Just go and join whatever group is local, and you can do things online. You don't have to leave your home.
Yes.
There's so many ways to get involved. We just need you to do something.
Yeah, and they can follow Revolution Philadelphia and find all those opportunities. We'll get to a little bit more about that in a minute. But so how do you each avoid burnout? Because you guys do a lot. And I said in the beginning of one of my other episodes, we're not expecting everyone listening to do everything that we do. We just happen to have energy. We have the time. We have whatever it is. That's our mojo, but you have your own mojo and we're going to help you find it. But how do you avoid burnout with everything you guys are doing, working full time? Go ahead.
I learned how to say no.
Mhm.
We get DMs all the time. Can you look at this? This dog is here. Can you go there and look at this? You should be doing this campaign. You should be doing that campaign. We don't go beyond our bandwidth. We have a few times, and we saw what it does. I mean, it burns you out.
Yep.
So we know when to say no. Don't go beyond our bandwidth. And like I said before, we just pick up for each other, which we're very lucky to. That's why we're so lucky to have each other. So
Yeah.
there are times where I'm like, I can't do anything this week. I'm, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And the girls pick up the slack, and it's fine.
Yeah. And when people do reach out, we try to empower them too.
Yeah,
Because we can't
exactly.
be everywhere. We're not
Yes.
in the city center. Like, you see this problem, here's what you do. Like, please take over this issue and you can do it. We're here to support you. So we try to do that too as much as possible, just
Yeah.
so more people are helping more animals. But like I said before, I'm not great at relaxing and doing nothing. So for me, the way that I
Yeah.
survive and feel good is by doing anything, whether it's signing a petition, sharing something on social media, setting up a meeting with a legislator. If I'm not in the works of doing something, I don't feel good. So the way that I, can kind of process everything is by having things going on, by feeling like I'm making a difference. So that's kind of what moves me.
Yeah.
So whenever I can, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that's me too. I kind of like, I'm always, but I have learned recently to take a day off if I'm feeling just really overloaded and I'm like, I have to just take the day off and that's it, and be okay with that. And I think it's so good. And you guys all have each other, and you can do that and just kind of pass it off, or you know what, there's no harm in taking time off, because if you burn out,
Right.
then the animals lose big time. Right.
Right.
Yeah. And we do take breaks. We do.
Yeah.
Like we'll go on little trips, or, we have a day where we go out to dinner. Like you do need a break. It is your own life and you want to have joy. So you just try to find that joy wherever you can. Whether it's watching a reality show or taking the dog for a walk. Yeah, you do need those breaks where you remember how beautiful it is outside, or that there's other things in the world that are going good.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't want to go down that negative rabbit hole, I guess, to, and just be really mad at humanity forever and be angry. So you need things that lift you up and find your people, and hang out with other vegans and other, people like you. And I think that's really important. It's so good that you guys have each other. Do you guys all live kind of close to each other so you can see each other?
Buddy, but Monsi right now, but yes.
Yeah, Monsi, she's in sunny California while we're freezing, and I have like a half a foot of snow under my window right now.
Yeah, we're all pretty close. We're within 20, 30 minutes of each other.
That's awesome. I also have a note of a future campaign that I think it says slaughterhouse to greenhouse. Do you guys want to talk about that?
So slaughterhouse to greenhouse has been on our 10-year plan for 5 years. So slaughterhouse to greenhouse.
There's a lot to do.
It is a great idea. It's going to be more resources than we have. So that's why it's something that is in the works and always in the back of our mind. So we have about a dozen live slaughterhouses in Philadelphia, and they're not in Center City. They're not in the nice places of Philadelphia where people go shopping. They're hidden in the corners of the city where, these animals aren't seen.
Yeah.
So we bring, we had an idea on its most basic level to transition these slaughterhouses into greenhouses. And this was initially Monsi's idea when Red Philly started. Like, this is one of the first ideas.
Yeah.
We saw right away. I mean, of course it's a great idea, but how are we going to do it?
Right.
How are we going to do this?
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of community building and relationship building. And a way to reach these owners of these markets. So that is still a work in process. It is a hope. We don't want to see, we love that cities do like slaughter free, whatever city you're in. And that's what we want in Philadelphia. But we want this slaughter not to be pushed out to the country where it's even more unseen. We want it to just we want it to end. And we want these business owners to not lose their livelihoods and be able to transition to something more sustainable for them and their families and their business. So it's a long-term goal of Red Phillies. I hope someday we achieve it, but we're always working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these places where the slaughterhouses are food deserts. They don't have fresh produce and, healthy foods available. So we would love to see, instead of a stinky, dirty slaughterhouse that spreads disease, a place where people can get healthy, whole foods, fruit and veggies. And so we've thought about partnering with farmers and partnering with legislators. It's just, it's a work in progress, a dream that we hope someday to be able to.
And it would benefit the communities involved so much. I don't live in a big city, and, I didn't even think about there being, these slaughterhouses in Philadelphia. You always think New York City because you hear about that a lot more, maybe, or there's maybe more videos online about it. But what is a big challenge doing your work in a big city? I don't know what ranking. Patrick probably knows. He always knows what cities rank in the biggest cities in the country. I don't know where you guys rank, but
the biggest challenge to doing animal rights work in a big city is the endless needs. There are endless needs in Philadelphia. And it comes down to the most needs if you think about animals on the spectrum, like for the general population, care most about their companion animals, their dogs and cats, and then they eat other animals.
Yeah.
There is so much animal abuse with companion animals and neglect and abandonment and overflowing of city shelters and just it's horrible and it's a major issue in our city. So yeah, that's definitely the needs are endless,
Yeah,
basically.
knowing where to
Yeah.
start, knowing what to get involved with, which
Yeah.
is why a lot of times we do partner with other organizations. There are some
Yeah.
amazing organizations in Philadelphia, and we try to help them when we can, and just try to partner because we all need each other. We all do different things, and it's great to come together and either raise money or donate or
Mhm.
things like that. But yeah, the need is endless,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah,
takes.
like we're not even a rescue and we've had rescues. I mean,
Right.
we've had animal rescues where we had to come up with like adoption contracts and all this stuff.
Oh, wow.
And we're like, "Oh my gosh, this is not on our bingo card, but this dog's tied to a pole," you know?
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
things happen, things come up, but yeah, the needs in the big cities are endless for animals. So
Yeah.
getting people to even care about companion animals can be a challenge, and getting them to care about food animals is like
Yeah.
so it feels, overwhelming to
Yeah.
have a city, where, you're trying to change a city, an entire city, and the way
Yeah.
of thinking and the way we use animals in every way, shape, and form. Especially when you realize we can't even get people to, like, do the right thing for dogs. It's hard, but it's
Yeah.
it's worth it because
yeah,
we're seeing
Yeah.
the results of it. We're seeing more compassionate, um, pet guardianship. We're seeing, more programs, more food banks. We're seeing more things come to reality in Philly, which is great. And we're here for it, and we are here to support it along the way, no matter what it is. If it's helping animals, we're in.
Yeah.
yeah. And the campaigns that we choose are things that we think we can win because when we
Yeah.
have those little wins, the successes of places dropping foie gras, the horses off the streets, it shows people like
Right.
this is all for something. You can make a difference. So we do
Yes.
try to pick campaigns that, this is a no-brainer. This is low hanging
Right.
fruit. Like we don't
Yeah.
need horses, we don't need foie gras,
Right. It's so
we don't
important.
need breeders. Yeah. So
It's important for the activists that are helping.
oh, yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
then these are educational things for the public too, and it builds on, the bigger
Movement.
the
Yeah.
bigger job
yeah.
of the vegan world, right? At the same time.
Yeah. I mean, when we first started and we were doing our community building, one of the first things we got involved in as an org with other orgs was fur. And we were involved in the Saks campaign. And that was the first time we
Yeah.
went disrupted and
Yeah.
protested for fur. And it was the first time we ever did this. And in Philadelphia for us, under our banner, in collaboration, and we won.
Yeah.
Saks dropped fur. And we were
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like that,
That's
that was
awesome.
from us?
Yeah.
We can't believe this. So then
Yeah.
we just kept going and doing more and more, and more, and that gets everybody so riled up. So one
Yeah.
of my big things with our group, our big group of activists in Philly is when something good happens, I blast it. I'm like, guys, guess what?
Yes.
Like, guess what happened?
Yeah.
Even if it's
Celebrate.
yeah, like this time, somebody rescued a hen from a live market.
Yeah.
Guess what? Everybody gets really excited when these things happen.
Yeah. Because
So
there's so much bad that we see, so
yeah.
celebrating every little victory is so important because that's a good way to avoid burnout. Is
Yeah.
just to make sure you recognize that and give yourself credit for, anybody who's a voice for give yourself credit. If you said, I wrote 3 letters to legislators this week. I did really good this week. Like, give yourself credit for
Right.
that instead of like, I wrote 3 letters to legislators. They probably don't give a shit and they don't care.
Yeah.
Like, it's in the way that you talk to yourself about
Yeah.
what you're doing too. I think that's so important. Like, so much psychological what we have to go through because it's emotional.
Yes.
Mhm.
And this is our passion, but it's very emotional work and it's really hard. So,
And we even celebrate other groups' victories. Other groups
yeah.
work foie gras around the country.
Yeah.
When they're able to have a restaurant drop something, we share that too because this
Yeah.
inspires, when we see people being successful in New York and other places, that makes us want to try even harder and get these
Right. And
successes
it's
too.
doable, and yeah, I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I
It's
love
very
I
inspirational.
Yeah, I like that about you guys so much because you really do work with other groups and you work with other groups well. There's some groups who don't wanna work with other groups, they wanna do things on their own, there's individuals that wanna do things on their own, I think they wind up burning out. And I think it's so important to collaborate and work together as much as we can because, it just goes back to the animals every time,
Yes.
and it's like we're stronger together all the
Yeah.
time.
It helps the
Yeah.
greater good. Get on
That's
board.
right. That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly. And I think another barrier, like we were talking about earlier, is,
Mhm.
unfortunately, just like every movement, including the animal rights movement, there are egos.
Yeah.
And people, you
Yeah.
need to lose your ego. You have to break that barrier because
Not about you.
it's not
Right.
about you.
Right.
It's not. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, that's
You
good.
know?
We need to talk about that.
Yeah, we do.
I think it's something we talk about behind closed doors a lot, but we need to talk
Yeah.
about that publicly because, um, people do try to be an influencer, right? They try to go to a few things, take videos, do a live, and then they post, and then they don't get um, any likes, and then they just give up and they never go to a protest again. And it's like, that's ego to me. It's like, yeah, that's why you were doing it to go and take a video. Like,
Right.
no, you need to be out here and not take. There's times I go to protest, and I don't have my picture taken. It's like
Right.
I don't even, and I'm like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I should probably. Oh, I don't have time. I don't need my picture taken. Well, let's take pictures of someone else and post it or whatever. But I think that a lot of people or they this is why I've always talked about this. I don't like gurus and I don't like and influencers are the next step. It's the modern day guru, I think,
Mhm.
that you follow these people and look, we know it with celebrities, right?
Yes.
So you love this celebrity and then you see them in person and they're like a shit show. And you're like, I like this person, or they wore fur or whatever. Or they do some, they always fall from grace.
Yes.
Yeah.
People are
But so
disappointing.
these popular influencer, guru, whatever they are, it's like, come on. Like even Peter Singer has things we don't like that he will do that we're like, what the hell, Peter Singer? It's like these people aren't like the be all end all. So it's just like we all have to do things and not, I don't know. I think we should. I always say I learn more about what not to do than what to do looking at other people because I think that's just as important too. But yeah, taking the ego out because it's not about us,
Right.
and
Well,
I
that's
think
what causes fights and arguments, and
yeah,
it takes away from why we're here. Like it's not about who gets more
yeah,
airtime or who gets more, likes. It's what message are you getting across?
Yeah, like we want if we can get the campaign won by this way versus our way, we'll
yeah,
do that way.
Yeah.
right, yeah,
We will uplift any person,
yeah,
organization,
yeah,
um, that is doing the work and doing it the
right,
right way. And that's
yeah,
why we support so many others, but we also know who to stay away from too. And that's where the
Yep.
ego stuff comes in,
yeah.
You
You
kinda
have
have
to.
to find where you align most. And you're not just thinking about yourself at this point, you're running an organization, you're representing an organization, you're a
Mhm.
group.
Right. And the animal
Yeah,
rights movement, because people will be very quick to say, "Oh, see, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't
mhm,
work because of this," or, so you wanna always be like a professional, productive group and not get
yeah,
involved in any sort of drama and not take away from the purpose we're here for, which is
r-
the
Yeah.
animals.
right. And for the everyday people who are getting involved, if you're in a group and it doesn't feel right, then go find another group.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if it doesn't feel right, it's not going to be right for you. Or if you're not being
Start your own.
heard, yeah, or start your own. If these guys can do it in 2020, I didn't know that. And I was like, that. And
We
I'm like,
couldn't wait to get out,
and I'm like,
in
in
2020.
2020? Oh my God, that's where everything was falling apart. You guys just rose up out of like the ashes. It's so awesome. Okay, so how can people get involved with Revolution
Um,
Philadelphia?
so you can always reach us by DM on social media. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook,
Right.
rev-philly.org is our website.
Mhm.
I
I'll
run
put
the
links
social
to all of
media.
this. Yep.
Oh, thank you. And
Yep.
then you can DM us anytime and come to something.
Yeah. That's awesome. And you have
Yeah.
online actions
Oh, yeah.
that you do?
All the time. All the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
And we'll be doing some online actions with that horse racing campaign with when we work with you guys too.
Absolutely.
And people from everywhere can get involved. We want
Yes, we
people
need
in the
your help. We
state,
will need
but
it.
yes, we'll need your help. And then and share those victories, when they're posting about victories, share it and talk to your friends about it and stuff too.
Mhm.
Anything else you guys want to
If someone
say
out
or
there is
yeah.
thinking of starting a campaign or they see something wrong, there's an aquarium nearby or, a petting zoo and they see animals not being treated the way they should, take pictures, document, reach out to us. We'll help you start a campaign. We'll based on things we've learned, we don't have all the answers, but based on things we've done, we'd be more than happy to help you get something started in your area. We're here
or
as a
connect you
support.
with somebody. Yeah.
Exactly. There's groups everywhere that you can get involved with, or if you want to do something on your own, we're here to support you. We want more activists. The more, the better. So please reach out. Please take action.
Yeah.
We need
And
you.
you could start your own group with just a couple people, like it is doable. It's not the easiest thing to do, but if you have drive and ambition like these two women do, you can do it. You can make anything happen with dedication, passion, consistency.
Yeah.
I think I say it in almost every episode now. It's the long game and it's consistency. That's what's going to get you anywhere. And doors open, and when I
as
say
long as you don't give up,
activism is stronger, like as you move on. I know my activism gets stronger every day. Talking to you, it fuels me up. Like I'm going to have a great day after talking to you guys today, because it's like, it's just, we lift each other up and being around each other. I think it's so important. All right. So sometimes what I like to do at the end for a little extra entertainment and so for some fun, because we have to remember to have some fun as activists. We can't be miserable all the time thinking about all the bad things that happen to animals. So I do a little lightning round. So I'm going to ask, I've never had two people on for this. So let's see how it goes and I'll call on you if I have to. But I want you both to answer some of these questions. Don't think too much, just kind of answer. Although one of you will be able to think a little bit longer, I suppose, while someone's answering. Okay, so here we go. Ready? You guys ready? What is your favorite vegan comfort food?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Stephanie?
I'd say for me, probably milkshakes and burgers.
Oh, yummy, yum. Do you make your own milkshakes?
I don't. There are some fantastic places near us that have amazing milkshakes. I could tell you every one of them, but yeah.
I have to add that Stephanie is Red Philly's foodie. If you're looking for food in the country, they'll tell you where the best vegan spots are.
I plan vacations around vegan food. Yes, for sure.
And it proves you can be a foodie and an activist, right?
When I wasn't vegan, I could care less about food, honestly. I never cared about dinner. I did not care at all. But now being a vegan, I am a little food obsessed. And I, could tell you all.
I love that. And I think our taste buds open up,
for sure.
Because there's not disgusting
food is better when you're vegan.
It is. It is better when you're vegan.
True.
Most used emoji.
Laughing
emoji. Stephanie?
Mine's probably the straight face emoji with the teeth.
I love that. Okay. If you could be any animal for a day, who are you?
My dog, Oscar.
Because he's so loved.
I just want to see what goes on in his little brain. So that's really why.
You could be Oscar for a day. Got it. Stephanie?
I'd be him for a day, yeah.
I think I would be the same. I'd be my dog, River. He really has the life. And I'd love to know what he's thinking about and what he thinks when he sees me. And if he really does love getting all those kisses. So, I think so.
I love that. I'm sure he loves getting all those kisses every day. What is your activism superpower, Tiffany?
I'm a good liaison. I'm good at bringing people together, connecting people, kind of bringing all the parts together for whatever it is that we're working on. So I like to be like the middle person. And social media, I would say my social media with Red Phillies, I'm very proud of it.
Definitely. Stephanie?
Yeah, Tiffany is our communicator. She can talk to anyone. She's very personable. Yeah, she's very good at being the go-to. I think, I'm not sure about mine. Maybe just not giving up. I don't know.
No, I know what Steph says.
Okay.
She's really, really good at approaching people that would make most people nervous, like your legislators, like the news media.
Yeah.
She has no problem picking up the phone and calling anybody that she needs to. Yeah, she I would get, like, if I'm calling one of the chefs at the restaurant, I would literally be, like, panicking inside. My heart would be racing, like, and Steph can call anybody. She can talk to anybody. Same thing.
I
think get nervous. Mine.
I liked how you answered for her. I like that. Like Stephanie backed up Tiffany's, and then Tiffany's like, I'm going to answer for you. I love that. That's so good. what's giving you energy lately?
Seeing all of the wins around,
Yeah.
fur right now, I mean, and foie gras. Those 2
Crazy.
campaigns are taking off everywhere.
Mhm.
Mainly thanks to orgs like CAFT and
Yeah.
AAC who are doing great work, but yeah, that's what's giving me life
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, I'd have to say definitely that, just seeing
Mhm.
things making progress and even just conversations that I've had with people, whether it's at work or at the gym, people just seem a little bit more open to hearing
Yeah.
about things they might not have been before. So maybe just people being more open-minded
Yeah.
about animals.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see an end to fur in our lifetimes. I think it's coming.
Yeah,
We're so close. And foie gras too, I think. I think we're getting there. And it's just activism that's making both of these happen. And people need to realize that and take and celebrate that. Okay, so the last one. What is one thing that someone can do right now to help animals?
people can just spread awareness. There are so many endless issues with all animals. I mean, pick an animal, there's an issue.
Yeah.
Spread awareness, make people
Yeah.
aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, maybe just pick a single issue and then just start with that, with one
yeah,
action. Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
I would piggyback on that for sure. Like,
yeah.
pick an animal you're passionate about, pick an issue that you've seen that you care about,
Mm.
and try to figure out what you can do to change it. Whether it's start a petition, write an email to, a letter to the editor, or, reach your legislator. Pick one issue. You have to start somewhere and
Yeah.
just make that your passion.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here, you guys. You're so inspiring. We'll have you back because I think we have so much more to talk about.
I know. I could keep
It's
going.
I know, it's so great. And you're both a big inspiration and just relentless activism. Just keep going and going. And thank you so much for being here and
Thank you
for
for
all
having me.
you do for the animals.
Well,
It's
thank you. You guys inspire us as well. So we're very
oh,
thankful for Horse Racing Wrongs and all you do. I mean, again, very inspirational. So thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It was a pleasure, and we want to come back soon.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Hey, friends, if you're enjoying In Behalf of Animals, don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen so you'll never miss an episode. And if you love what we're doing, it would mean so much for you to share this podcast with a friend. It's one of the best ways to help more people hear these important conversations. You can also join our Substack community for updates, behind-the-scenes notes, and ways to get involved. Thanks for listening, and remember, be a voice for the animals every chance you get.